Hi people, welcome back. If it's your first time, my name is Talia Adewale and this is DISBYDEM. Today I'm doing a review of Marry My Husband Season 1. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I post new videos. Let's just dive into it, people. This review is going to come out before my reaction to the final 2 episodes because the review is easier to do for editing than the reaction. But don't worry, I'm pretty sure by now the reactions are on Patreon, so if you want to check that out, feel free to do that. There's a few episodes on there and some other series that are already on there. No pressure, it's still gonna come onto YouTube, so if you can be patient, that's all I ask. Like, you do you. But let's dive on into this because all the feels. I just finished the last episode, guys, so it's still fresh for me. And I've been reading and rereading the novel the past 2 weeks. It's all I do. I'm going to be talking about the cast members and using that as a progression throughout the entire series. Alright, so when a woman witnesses the affair between her best friend and her husband and is murdered by them, she goes back in time to change her future and seek revenge. So she goes back 10 years. Now I'm going to be pulling from the series, the webtoon series, and a novel. So it's going to be a mishmash. I mean, I'll explain as I'm going, but I'm just going to be giving you all the details. So we're going to be talking about this. There is, let me be the first to tell you that there is really no need for me to do this review. But because I love this series so much and I want to talk about it, that's why I'm here. I would have done a live, but I couldn't see a feasible time where I would have enough quiet in my house. I have children, I have dogs, like it's a whole deal. I didn't see a time slot that would work for engagement because the whole reason for the live is that I would want to engage with you guys and, go back and forth and, hear your comments and everything. But there wasn't a feasible time for me to do that. So this was the next best option. First thing to mention is the chemistry between all the actors. Fan-freaking-tastic. I've loved everything about the show. I've loved the book, the comic, and this. Everything about it. I've loved every single one. The chemistry between the actors was fantastic. They did absolutely freaking well. Chemistry between the 2 leads off the chat. My favorite couple of all time. I'm just putting it out there right now. I have liked a few other people, but this one, these are my favorite couple of all time. And they took the slot of Magnus Bane and Alec Lightwood, Malek, from Shadowhunter series. If you know, you know. Cassandra Clare is... let's not go down there. They took that spot. That was a hard spot to take. But Ji-hyuk and Ji-won stole it from me. So let's start with Naeun. And we're going to be here a while because we're talking, people. This is just us talking. Like, I'm just going to pretend that I'm chatting with all my friends right now. Having some wine. It's 1 a.m. Otherwise, I would have some wine and we'd be talking about it. But Naeun, who plays Yoo Ji-hyuk, he's so cool. And I didn't even recognize how handsome he was until episode 13. That was the first time that I made a comment, I think, about his appearance. I was like, why did it take me so long? He's just absolutely gorgeous. I think I was like bamboozled by his height. He's so tall. But he really did play the character well. Ji-hyuk was described as, he's over 6, he's taller than Min-won. Min-won was described as a 6'2" guy in the book. And Ji-hyuk was taller than Min-won. That's how tall he was. I think they got him right. This guy played it well. Honestly, I have no complaints about him playing the character and how he played it and him. I think he did a great job. Then we move on to Park Min-young, who played Kang Ji-won. And she's very famous, apparently very famous. I think I was reading, since I saw her in this, I've been looking at other stuff. And she had some kind of controversy about her boyfriend being something, and people were going after her. And I was like, why are you attacking the woman for something that her spouse did? They're not even married, like he was just a boyfriend. But let's not even get into it. If you know the full story, please put it in the comment section. I can trust you guys to always keep me informed. But for me, it didn't seem like something that she needed to be torn down for. She wasn't the one, I feel, she wasn't the one scamming people, so why was she getting hit for it? But I get it, guilty by association is what people were saying. It didn't matter. Extremely talented woman. I feel like I need to go and watch everything that she's been in now because she was so good. So freaking good. And she did fit the description of G1 from the original content. I think they got it well. The only thing that I didn't like was that they cut her hair. Like I know I said that in my reaction videos. Like, yeah, I feel like they should have kept the hair. The hair kind of sold it for, me. I absolutely loved that. And we got to see that in the end. We got to see the hair and I was like, yes, that is the G1. That is how G1 was described and that is how she looked. So I loved it. I didn't care either way. Park Min Young is absolutely gorgeous and she did a fantastic job with this entire series. The two main leads did great. I'm not even gonna focus on them too much. We'll come back to the story. Where I want to even give, like, the people that impressed me the most: Song Hae-yeon, who plays Sumin, and Lee Yi-kyung, who plays Min-won. He's apparently a comedic actor. I would never have guessed that from this series because he played Min-won so freaking well. So well. Song Hae-yoon, I think is how you say it. Hasumin was fantastic. I hated this character so much everywhere, and I think she killed it. They were so good. Every single one of them did so freaking well. It was just amazing. So the story was that obviously she died, and then her dad, who had passed away years before, sent her back and told her that basically gave her a second chance to live a happy life. Now, plot twist was that Ji-hyuk also passed away. In the webtoons, he passed away. He did everything for her funeral. He settled all of that, and then he walked into the ocean and died. I feel like that's how they described it in the webtoon. In the novel, he had an accident, I think, and his car exploded. His car caught on fire in the novel, and then I think he drove into the ocean. It's something like that because I feel like that's how Min-won died in the novel. Anywho, turns out that the father was just sending people left, right, and center. And this one thing that I wanted to mention, but I didn't, and I said I'll save it for this review, was that Pang, the cat. If you read the novel, the cat was poisoned. Sumin seduced Ji-won's boyfriend in university, got him to break up with Ji-won, and then told him to go and kill the cat because she could not take the cat. Sumin's whole thing was that Ji-won was not allowed to be happy without her. So anything that brought Ji-won joy, Sumin took or destroyed. So the guy did in fact poison Pang, and Ji-hyuk beat him up first of all, and then took Pang to the hospital to try and save Pang. Kicker is, Pang was actually saved by her dad as well. The dad sent Pang back to find her and be her companion for as long as possible. And I was like, levels. Like, the dad was just there at the gate saying, you go back, you go back, you go back, you can't stay. I love that. I love the fact that he actually was there just taking care of her in the background. I thought that was really, really beautiful. And I don't know, if you believe in spiritual things, it's kind of significant, and I really loved it. Honestly, the fact that he just said, no, my daughter has suffered enough and she deserves a good life, so go back. Here, take this good man who is willing to die for you. Here, take this pet who is willing to die for you, and go back and have a good life. I liked it, honestly, 100%. So, like, the whole thing with Sumin and Min-won, I did not understand why Sumin was so hell-bent on making Ji-won's life so miserable. And then you figure out that Ji-won's mom left her dad for Sumin's dad. And Sumin knew. So Sumin decided that because her mom was abusive, so she kind of grew up in an abusive home. Her mom berated her, belittled her, yelled at her, I think abused her physically. So she did grow up in an abusive home. And I felt bad for the child. But the adult, I didn't feel bad for. Because the adult grew up twisted and warped. Definitely due to the upbringing, yes. But here is the thing. When she decided that because her dad decided to shack up with Ji-won's mom, and so it was Ji-won's fault, I was looking at her like, both of you were left by a parent. So the way you're suffering too, maybe not to the extent where, Ji-won's dad is abusing her. Ji-won's dad was very loving. And I think that's what made her snap. The fact that she saw that Ji-won's dad was so loving to Ji-won, it worked something in her head and twisted something in her head, and she said that she was going to make G1 miserable just for that. It was crazy. To me, it was crazy. And it was so mind-boggling because when she visits G1, the dad treats her the same, give her allowance, cook for her. So if she'd said, I'm scared to go home, I don't want to go home because it's not a good situation, I'm pretty sure she could have lived with them happily. Because the mom didn't care where she was. Yeah, the mom would look for her when she needed money or something, but the mom didn't really care. So if she'd done that, she would have grown up very happy. But she decided to dedicate her life to making G1 miserable. I don't even know that I have that kind of dedication in me. Like when you think about it, how many years? I think it was 17 years, eh? No, she'd known. Yeah, I think she'd known. Ooh, yeah. So by the time she went back in time, it was 17 years that she'd known Sumin. 7 years she'd known, what's his name? Minwan. When you fast forward, it's 27 years she'd known Sumin and 17 years that she'd been with Minwan. Wow. That blew my mind. I couldn't get behind Sumin's reason for why she was doing what she was doing. Minwan was just a jerk. He found someone who was an easy prey and decided that was where he was going to nest. Now, Ji-hyuk is where I was like, Ji-hyuk had met, what's her name? Ji-hyuk had met Ji-won in university. That's where they initially met. Ji-won did not remember, obviously. But they met in university while she was taking care of the cat. And then I don't know what happened, how they lost each other. And then he never really saw her again. Next time that he saw her, she was applying. She had just been hired. In the series, she had just been hired in a company. In the novel, she had just applied for a position, but she didn't recognize him. Now, he had always been straight-laced. He didn't, I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he just decided that he was going to watch her from afar. Okay, no, he was always awkward. I don't know what, they didn't explain. Something had happened, I guess, but they didn't really explain it. But he never really liked being around women or group of women. So he was awkward, and I guess he didn't really know how to approach her, to talk to her. And every time that he said something, because of the way he speaks, very direct and almost monotone or emotionless, it always came out like hard, I guess. So he just watched her from afar and watched her fall in love with Minwan and marry Minwan and die. So that was where he was like, no, he's never gonna, in the book he said he was never gonna let Minwan get her, and it was his sole purpose to save her from Minwan. So that's how they begin it in the webtoon and the book. It's like he's always there protecting her in some way, shape or form, always there to give her a ride somewhere, always there to pick her up from somewhere. Like he was just always there, like this guardian angel protecting her until they figure out that they're both from the past and their things kind of align and they get together, and they give the fates to other people and stuff like that. But he was just always there. There was this one part in the book where she tells him that the fate is inevitable. You either pass it on to someone, but it will still come true. And then he ran away because he thought he was going to die. So because he was going to die, he didn't want to be around her or love her and then have to leave her. So he runs away. And she chases him down. He runs to Busan and she finds him and brings him back. It was kind of cute. I just really loved the entire series. Now we have other cast members. We have Lee Ji Kwang, who plays Baek. I love calling him Baek. Yoonho. And Yoonho was Jiwon's first love in high school. Obviously, Sumin ruined that real quick. Reunited again when they went back. Yang Juran, played by Gong Min Jung. She is Ji-won's co-worker. She also works at UNK with all the rest of them. And at some point, she was beginning to take Ji-won's fate. So she got the cancer that Ji-won had. She was going to be killed by her husband, her cheating husband. The exact same thing that happened to Ji-won in her past future. It's the best way I can describe it. Juran was taking it and it was like, oh my God, no. And I wondered if that would have happened regardless. But then in episode 14, when Minwan died and things kind of just fell into place for Juran, that gave me shivers. Honestly, I had shivers from that. They didn't put Hyun. Why wouldn't they put Hyun on here? Okay, so Hyun is Ji Hyuk's sister. They don't really reveal that until later on in the series. But she's played by Choi Gyuri. I loved this girl that played Hyun. Hyun is a bubbly personality. She is like um out there, loves eating. Like she's just a big personality and always very happy. And I think this girl really did nail it. She nailed it. I loved her portrayal of Hyun. I didn't react to episodes 1 and 2. That was my mistake. I just honestly I felt I accidentally found this series. It wasn't intentional. I was bored in bed and I clicked on it. I never go to Prime. Prime doesn't really have much like for me, so I never really go there. But I saw this and I thought that maybe it was an old series and I clicked on it, and that's how they got me. They got me real quick. So I never reacted to 1 and 2. My brother did react to 1, so I'll probably put that in like the compilation. There's no reaction to 2, unfortunately, so it's going to be 1 and then 3 to 16. But yeah, they really did get me, and the way the series evolved, I really liked it. There were changes obviously from the webtoon and the novel. There were introductions. Yura is not in the webtoons, but she's in the novel, and the way she was described and the way she was brought in the novel was how they did it here. The only difference for Yura's story was the fact that she took Ji Hyuk's death. Why they did that, I'm not sure. I actually preferred the way it ended for the novel, but they couldn't do that here because they changed the whole storyline. So in the novel, Hyun is a half sister. There was no affair there. They did an affair here. Why would they do that to Ji Hyuk's dad? Interesting. In the novel, there was no affair, but Yura had terrorized Hyun to the point where Hyun tried to take her own life because it was the whole class thing. Yura thought that she was up here, and Hyun was the daughter of a former farm hand. So her mother used to work in the farm and then fell in love with the dad. So they couldn't really adapt that story here. They would have had to change everything. I guess that's why they gave Yura Ji Hyuk's death. I mean, she deserved it. I'm not gonna lie. Yura was terrible. Loved the actress, loved the character and the dimension that it brought to the series. But the character itself was diabolical. It was terrible. I also loved the way Sumin and Minwan tortured each other. It was one of my favorite things in it, especially the way Sumin terrorized Minwan. I enjoyed it. It's like two people who deserve to be miserable making each other miserable. Oh God, vindication. It was just perfect. Am I forgetting anybody? Mr. Lee. I like the dimension that they gave Mr. Lee here. They gave him a little bit more power so he could help Juran, and I don't know, I just like it. I liked his character. He was very stoic at first, but kind of grew on you. The fact that he was laughing in episode 15 and 16 was kind of nice. Who else are we missing? The biggest change of them all. Chairman Yu. I will not forgive them for what they did to Chairman Yu. If I was given points, that would be the only place that I would deduct points for. Honestly. Because the way Chairman Yu was described, yes, he was very no nonsense. He was very direct. He was honest. But he was a good man. He was rich. He was a man that worked, like saw his dad work from nothing and create something. So I guess maybe he wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth. So he still had an appreciation for good work, hard work, and ethics. I don't know. This guy seemed like your next generation Chobol. That's what he was giving. And the fact that he was, championing Yura, it really pissed me off. But I get it. The story was different in this series. Like, she hadn't done anything to Hyun. There was no family history there. So there was no need for him to be antagonistic to Yura. However, for someone who keeps his hand in the pot, the way he was stalking his son and Ji-won from the beginning of this thing to the end, it blows my mind that he didn't pay that much attention to the girl that he was pushing on his grandson. And the fact that he was insulting. He did. Let's call it space. He told her that she should leave it and just say it is what it is. And I'm like, mind your business, man. Like, seriously. I was this close to telling him to F off again. Because he really pissed me off. I just didn't like the changes to Chairman Yu. But it is what it is. He did have his character redemption in the end. He tried, to do the right thing. He fell in love with Ji-won. Not like that. Like, he really liked Ji-won as the way it all happened. The only thing is we didn't get to see Gumran. Gumran is Hyun's mom and Ji Hyuk's stepmom. She was such a pivotal character in the webtoon. And was she in the webtoon? Yes, she was pivotal character in the webtoon and the novels. And I feel cheated that we didn't get to see her in this, but I guess they didn't really have time, considering that they were trying to fit everything into the 16 episode series. They did fantastic. I think I've talked out everything that I wanted to say. I feel a lot better now. Yeah, no, it was fantastic. I pretty much just rambled this entire review, but this review is basically for the people who have seen it. I guess it was also for the people who haven't, because I did go into detail a lot about everything that was going on. It was great. It was great. The friends, I loved their Avengers moments when they went to Sumin's this thing. They did not include the romance between Sinu and GA. I think her name here was Yeji, right? But I think it was GA in the book. The main friend, the one that was really bullying G1 in high school. Also in the webtoon, no, I don't know if it was a webtoon, but in the novel, she does create a strong friendship with the girls. Like, as soon as they figured out that Sumin was crazy and Sumin was behind everything, they apologized to her, they reached out to her, and they started hanging out, and she increased her friend circle like that. So, she not only had Hyun and Juran at work, but she had her three friends also from high school. They made up, like, she really did increase her circle, multiply it, I think almost a tenfold as soon as Sumin was out of the picture. But no, hands down, amazing series. If you haven't seen this yet, I mean, at this point, you've probably watched it because of everything that I've said throughout this review, but it was so good. I cannot rave enough about the series, and I'm going to be watching it for a while. Actually, I might just do a compilation of Ji Hyuk and G1 moments. Let me know in the comment section if you want to see that, because I will gladly do that for you guys, because I will do that for myself and just sit down and watch just their moments, because they had some really wholesome moments throughout this thing, from when, you know, they were just getting the lay of the land from going back 10 years and figuring things out, to when they actually, you know, connected and said, oh, we both like each other, this is what is happening, when he declared himself to her, to when they actually started dating. I just love it. They had some really, really wholesome, cute moments, and it was fantastic. In the foundational content, G1 was not planning to remarry. She had told Pang that she just wanted to live her life because of what she'd been through in her 10-year marriage to Minwon. Ji-hyuk overheard that, and even though he was sad about it, Hyun, I never get her name right. He even helped him, created this whole proposal thing for him. You know, the land transfer and the titles and all that stuff that they did in episode 13, I think, for her. It was part of the proposal package in the foundational content, especially in the book. I don't remember the webtoon. I've actually forgotten the webtoon, because the book I keep rereading, it's still fresh in my mind. So it was part of his proposal package. He offered her, he basically offered her security. I don't know if she took it. They didn't really specify if she signed the papers or not. But he offered her security that she can do whatever she wanted within the marriage, and that he would support her through it all. And that was the thing that spurred her into accepting his proposal. It was his second proposal. The first one, he just blotted it out and it became awkward, and both of them just like went their separate ways and didn't talk about it. But the second one, he had this whole thing set up, and then she ended up accepting it. One last thing before I round up this review. There was zero sexy time in this. Their kiss in episode 10 was like, you know, the steamiest thing that we got. There was so much build up and no finish. Which was a little irritating, but the book is like packed. Oh my god. I can give you the chapters if you're looking for that. Let me know in the comment section and I will put it out there. I know all the chapters. It is packed because Ji-hyuk was a virgin. He was never interested in women. There was no woman that interested him. Just none. The only person that he ever had eyes for was Ji-won. And by the time they went back in time, he was like, it was like two lives worth of, you know, just crammed up in this one body. So every moment that he had, he took opportunity, and it was like constant for them in the book. In the webtoons, they don't really show. Well, they do, but I think it was in the end that they showed. But in the book, there are many, many chapters. So at least we get that in the book. If you're looking for the steamy moments between Ji-hyuk and Ji-won, you're gonna have to read the book to get it. But yeah, other than that, we didn't really get much of that in this, and it's fine. You don't really miss it, if I'm being honest. If not that I was reading the book constantly, I wouldn't miss it in this because there was just so much more happening that you kind of don't even focus on that. Sumin's end was the way it ended in the book. Minwon, they changed. They gave him Ji-won's end from her past future, which I actually appreciated. I was like, you know what? He did this to her. It makes sense that he should receive her death. In the book, he died the way Ji-hyuk had died. He had set up this whole thing to kill Sumin, forgot about it, and ended up falling for the trap that he set for his wife. His mom survived in this. Good for her, because she died in the other one. And his dad was left with all the debt, and I think maybe he was killed for it because it was a lot. Duran's ex-husband and his mistress will go to prison. She gets 1.5 years, he gets 2 years, because back then there was a law against adultery, so based on all the evidence, they were able to put them away. Yeonji, Duran, and Mr. Lee are a couple. They're not married. She said she never wants to get married. He said he was okay with that. So they do remain a couple, and are a couple even in the stories afterwards. Baek and Hyun do get married. In the book, Ji-hyuk is not interested in taking over UNK and actually quits. He leaves UNK real early on, and Hyun, after a while, does become the chairwoman. She was the one who inherited the company. But before then, there was a project that she had come up with, and what's his name? Mr. Kim, the annoying boss, tried to steal it from her. She does end up developing it. It was a halal product. Developing that one, moving to Indonesia to develop it, and she took Mr. Kim with her. In my reaction in episode 16, I do say that he goes on to have a full career with UNK. It's just mixed up a little bit, but they kept him as part of the story here. He apologized. It seemed like he changed his ways, and he's a funny guy. If he's not being so sleazy, he was actually funny, which was kind of nice. It was kind of like comic relief for the office. But no, I liked it. I liked the way they integrated everything. I know I was going back and forth here, but hopefully you guys came along with me. It's a little twisted in my head right now. Everything, the knots are all like, I can't even get it straight. But it's just a beautiful, wonderful story, and I really did enjoy it, and I thought they did a great job. If I had to rate it, it's a 9.8 for me out of 10. And if I had to, rate it in my tops, it's number 1 right now. It's sitting pretty at number 1, people. I feel like I'll start doing that at the end of my reviews and see where they rate in the system. So yeah, let's start now. This is number 1 for me. Well, yeah, that's it. Marry My Husband has come to an end. I don't know if we'll see a second season. I really don't know what they would want to do a second season about. Maybe Hyun and Baek's story, because that is the only other one that got like a mini, after Marry My Husband. I think it was Marry My Sister-in-Law. I feel like that's what it's called. So yeah, if they wanted to do anything, that would be it. But I really don't know that there's enough there for them to do a second season. I think they should just leave this. It's a masterpiece. It's perfect the way it is, and they did a great job. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I hope you're able to come along with me and it wasn't a twisted mess. I am exhausted right now, until maybe it was all a mess, but I'm sure you guys found something helpful in there. I've loved this journey with you guys, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So yeah, do all the right things, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you know when I post new videos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!